How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for
This is
joining me.
fun.
I'm
Of
so excited.
course.
Um, I'm Jack, so I'm the host of Pop Palace. Um, we do
Yay.
celebrating iconic LGBTQ people and women in pop music and the music space. And
Love
so
it.
we're just so excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Yay. Thank you for having me.
Um, so you started songwriting at just 12 years old. Can you tell us a little bit what draw you initially to songwriting into like your overall music experience?
Yeah. So I was like a really dramatic kid and I loved theater, like musical theater. And I also liked writing stories. I thought I wanted to be an author at one point. And I think for me, yeah, songwriting was a way to like blend the two and kind of tell my own story and not other people's. But it took me a while to like get to the point where I was comfortable enough sharing it. So I started when I was young, but it was definitely just like, my own thing. And then I went to school to college originally for musical theater, and then I was like, this is fun, but I felt like I had a lot to say, and I you know, wanted to, I think I think I got the confidence that I just want to share my own like point of view. So, yeah, I just found my way there, but it took a while, but, and I'm still obviously, expanding and working on it, but it's been like a really good outlet for me. And, yeah, so yeah.
Awesome. Um, have you like so being from Toronto and then moving, do you find that has impacted your musical experience or like your taste for different types of music?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, Toronto is awesome and so many amazing artists have come from Toronto. And I just think Canada in general like does a really good job of like supporting their artists. But for me, like, I moved from Toronto to New York, which, obviously is a different country, but it's still, like it felt like the most similar place I could move, but also um kind of broaden my horizons in a way when it comes to like art. And I just think there's something about New York, especially with pop music, and just it just seems like, yeah, like it's just self-expression is encouraged more here, and um, just like the opportunities. I feel like I have such a connection to Toronto from when I was younger, but I really do feel like I grew up in New York in a way because I like moved here when I was 18 and I've been here for almost 10 years. So just I think it introduced me to way more of like the hyper pop kind of world and
Yeah.
the dancing, that kind of stuff. And while that's not like like necessarily what I'm kind of focused on, with my music right now, I think just like really growing an appreciation for pop, for females in pop, and like being taken seriously through that, because I feel like pop music tends to not be taken as seriously sometimes.
Yep,
So
100%. That's like the
like
whole reason we're
it's
here.
exactly like I just think um that's why like I just love making music here and performing it. Like I feel like it's the place for it. So
Yeah, definitely. I
yeah.
totally get that. I
Yeah.
feel like pop music gets so much hate, especially if you're a woman in pop music, for no
Hmm.
reason, because it's ultimately like one of the best forms of music because it's so
Right.
empowering and gives you so much energy
Yeah.
and confidence. Yeah.
Well, I just think like any way that you can, tell your story or your message, like the most amount of people, like I just think there's a reason why we all, pop music is always at the top of it. Like
Yeah.
there's a reason. And I just think that doesn't make it not cool for like everybody to be, you know, bopping along to the stuff. I don't
A
know.
hundred
It's
percent. And to me, even they're like this real life superheroes. Like a lot
right.
of people look up to like superheroes who are like in movies or TV, but like these are actual people doing real things that I'm
Yeah.
looking up to, and like I can go see them in real life,
Yeah.
and that's just so
Exactly.
empowering. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
No, I love it.
So your sound blends infectious pop energy with raw storytelling. Who were the artists or albums that inspired you growing up, and then what are some albums that have inspired you like more recently?
um so growing up, especially I don't know how. like, yeah, in high school, I discovered Marina and the Diamonds, who is currently Marina, but was a Marina and Diamonds to me. And Electra Heart was like one of my favorite albums. I think it was like a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like you can like actually have like a really strong message, have really like catchy beats, but also be somewhat experimental and like theatrical and dramatic. And I loved, especially coming from a theatrical background, I was like, this is so cool. And so that album, like growing up, really inspired me. I mean, obviously, Lana Del Rey, like Born to Die, like I was like sitting in the library, just like, what is going on when I was like 15. Um,
No,
just
literally.
no, but literally, like I somehow someone gave me that CD at that time, and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So that I think really informed just especially my like teen attitude, I guess. I don't know. And then I think, and currently, I'm a big fan of Dua Lipa. Okay, I love a good pop beat. I love a good production. I think Future Nostalgia is like one of the best pop records of, you know,
Insane. It's
it's
so good.
insane. And
Yeah.
I really love Radical Optimism. I am a fan. I think it was a great summer album.
Yeah.
I also think, I mean, Brat kind of blew my mind, as you know, probably everybody else's. I
Right.
think, you know, when I was, because I'm working on, or this past year working on like an album and music, and I think my last EP was like very kind of poppy, and this is like definitely pop but a little bit more alternative, a little bit more organic. But I think we still just with Brat, I was like, oh my gosh, like I just need like some sort of hyperness into it. So some of the songs I have something in there, but um if anything, like what Brat did was just, you know, how the rollout was and like what Charlie, like she's just like was so clear on her vision, and I think that
Uh-huh.
was really inspiring to me, with, you know, making my own stuff. So yeah, that's like the
Yeah,
things that come to
totally.
mind currently, but
I
yeah.
love it. Um, Speaking of your debut album, On the Phone with My Mom, so congratulations on
Yeah,
announcing.
period.
What was the creative process like for this? Did you have the idea, I'm gonna make my debut album now, or did like a series of songs just kind of accumulate and you were like, it's time?
um I think, you know, yeah, it was mostly time. I think like like I just felt like, you know, I put out some EPs and I just feel like I want to start like a body of work from like start to finish with like the mindset of like this is going to be like one whole story. Because with my past projects, like they've just been kind of, you know, me figuring out my sound, and, you know, things worked and just kind of in the moment, and that is awesome too, and like so special in its own way. But I really like telling stories. I also, as like a listener, I love listening to albums. Like if I find an artist that I really like, I love going and seeing like full bodies of work from start to finish. Like I do love that. So I, you know, I was like, I feel like in a way I was waiting for like a moment. I was like, I'm gonna wait till I'm like so famous, like so like six, you know, like I don't know, like I just sometimes you get, you know, bogged down. And I'm like, I don't deserve to have like an album because like I feel like I haven't hit these like benchmarks in my head. Um, but I just feel like through making it, like I made it for me. I made it for my 16-year-old self. I made it for like whoever can relate. Like it doesn't matter how many people hear it. I just the fact that like, you know, I'm started something and finished it was like a big thing for me.
Yes. No, yeah.
Um, and then now, you know, getting to share with whoever wants to listen, like that is like what's really important, and what like I've learned through the process. And I made it with my boyfriend whom I live with, which was a process in itself, you know, like but we learned a lot about each other, about, you know, how, you know, our music tastes, like everything. Like it was a really cool way to make something with someone that knows you so well.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, for like my first album, like I just think it's very me. It's very like as I grow in my career, hopefully like people would come back to it and be like, oh, this is cool. Like this is like kind of where I started.
Yeah.
So,
Yay. I'm so excited. I really can't
thank
wait.
you.
So did you and your boyfriend like do it all in where you live, or did you guys do it in like a separate space?
So we have like a little home studio, and it's, just collected gear over the years. And it's the first time we were able to make it with like, we have like a real piano. We have we have a violin, we have saxes that we've just, collected. And I think my boyfriend's a great writer and a producer and artist himself. And so being able to have access to this stuff was awesome. And, also just, yeah, like where we live, like it was just like a very comfortable place. It didn't feel like I was like working, or like it just felt really natural, and we could just like go into the studio, and whenever we felt like it, we had an idea, or we could take a break when we needed to. It just made it, I think, very just felt like a safe space to create. I mean, it's tough to find like a balance, because sometimes I felt like we were like there for like hours, and like, so
Yeah.
there might be a benefit to like having a separate space, but I think for this album it like kind of worked to just have it at our
Yeah.
home.
That's
Sense.
awesome. And I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, it makes it a little bit more organic, because you're not like
Yeah.
forced to a specific time to like, you have
Yeah.
to show up, do it here, and then leave.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
had, yeah, which I feel very lucky that we were able to like find a place that we could have this space to do it, because it did really, I think, impact how we were able to work in like a
That's
good way.
awesome. So let's talk about The Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Such a powerful track. So the lyrics explore fear and estrangement. So, what was it like co-writing and producing with Cade Hope and Harper James?
It was really cool. We started, Cade just like had a track, like he was kind of building the track, and I kept like saying the lyric like, I thought I saw you yesterday, because I like I have this thing where, I mean, New York is a very big city, but it's also very small. So like sometimes I like live in fear of like I'm gonna turn the corner, I'm gonna walk into somebody that like I don't
Yeah,
want to, whether it's my ex,
100%.
whether it's like my nemesis, I don't know, like
No,
someone I just
yeah.
like don't want to have like a conversation with, because I'm a little bit like
Uh-huh.
socially awkward sometimes. And so like, yeah, for some reason that was fresh on my mind, and I was just like, I thought I saw it. And, like I just had a specific instance where like I thought I saw someone I knew who like is just like looks like like just like as a very like, I don't want to be mean, but just like it's my ex, so like just like basic. So I'm just like, it could like literally could have been anybody.
Yeah.
So I was like I keep seeing this person everywhere and just in my head, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that's kind of how that came about when we kind of wrote to that. And I think it can relate to like relationships, or just like feelings that you're afraid of, like just that you're running away, that like feeling of avoidance, that like we explored. So we wrote that here. And then Harper is awesome. Like he is an amazing mixing engineer, and he really helps us like make it just everything sound like so professional and perfect. And so we brought that in, and just like really we're like we wanted this to be like a very pop like addition to the album, because I like my first two singles for the album had been a little bit more like not as pop, like not as like upbeat, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So we just wanted to really drive this like as hard as we could. So it was a really just like fun process, and it feels like really cathartic to sing it too. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to share
that's awesome.
it.
I do relate to like seeing people that I don't want to see all the time. I live in Oklahoma City, and so
Okay.
there's like hardly any people compared to like big cities. So like I'll see people I don't want to see all the time, and I'm like, if only we had a few more people, spread it out.
Right. Right. But it's like this thing of like, sometimes you can get away with not interacting,
Right.
but sometimes there's that awkward thing where it's like you're walking towards each other. It's like there's like no way for you to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
just that feeling for me is just like the worst for me.
Yeah. Or
I'm
like for me
not
when they come into my work and I'm like,
right. hey.
Hey, how are
And then
you?
it's like rude, and then like I'm just thinking about it for hours after. I'm
Yeah,
like,
for
that
the
was
rest of the
so, oh
day.
my God.
Yeah,
So I'm glad I'm
I
not
totally feel
alone in
that.
that
No,
feeling.
I totally feel that. Um, so doing music, it can take up like a lot of your time, but what is your like average day like? How do you fit in like making music, having time for other things? Um,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I definitely I work from home, which helps because I have flexibility in my schedule. And so I but also that I have ADD, so I like struggle sometimes to like be organized. So I really do try to like get up and get my work done, and then um with Cade, we just like we do a lot of stuff on the weekends just for schedule purposes. You know, afternoons into the night. But yeah, like a typical day, I would say is, I wake up, I try to get my head in the game. I try to do the stuff that I don't want to do first, and
Mm-hmm.
then, focus on music. I think a lot of, what it is to be an independent artist is like trying to figure out social media as well. So there's like a good portion of
Yeah.
my day that I'm just like scrolling TikTok. Just like, what do I do? That's a
Yeah.
good portion of the day. And then, my favorite thing to do after, writing or after a session or after a work day is to just, I love just watching TV and
Mm-hmm.
reading, just like try to settle down and not go on social media, and try to focus on other things, and
Yeah.
then try to do it all the next day.
I
So,
feel that.
yeah.
Speaking of like TV, if you could write a song with like any fictional
Oh
character
my
in
God.
mind, what fictional character would you write a song for?
Well, so technically, like I didn't write this song, but when I released for my last EP, I have a song called Ruining, and it like the character that I used, like, or that like I thought of immediately was this character Shahira from Spirited Away, which is like my favorite movie ever. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I relate to her so much, just as like an anxious child. So I think maybe, I mean, Billy kind of beat me to it, to be honest with you, but um I would write a song maybe for like that kind of world, the Spirited
Yeah.
Away world. Like I love animated films, so like doing
Wait,
something
that'd be so
like
cute. I
that.
would love
Isn't that
that.
so cute?
Yeah. I
Like
could see that. I'm manifesting that. Yeah.
yeah. So like one of my dreams is to like make like an animated film for like one of my albums. Might be
That'd
like
be
a
so
different
cute
story, but
though.
like I just think it's so fun. So,
Yeah.
and you
I
can
love
just,
that.
and the imagination, I don't know. So maybe one
Yeah.
day
Yeah.
we'll make that
It'll
happen.
happen. Um, so do you have any like hobbies or passions that take up your time that aren't music or other work?
Yeah, you know, I love reading. I'm a little bit of a gamer. Like, I gotta say, it's so
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But during COVID, I got like, like everybody, I got addicted to Animal Crossing, and then that
Yep.
was just like a gateway to like a bunch of other things. And I always tell people, like, I just think, especially if you have, anxiety, if you have ADD, like I struggle sometimes to focus on things, even if I'm watching TV. But like playing a game, I feel like I can get lost a little bit.
No,
And I
definitely.
definitely, try to like only like limit my time because I could literally stay
Yeah.
playing a game for hours.
Me with Minecraft.
Li-
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And so that is like maybe, yeah, that's a hobby. It's something I like to do to like
Yeah.
settle, and like, I'm definitely an introvert, so I do like to spend a lot of time by myself to recharge. So like I like doing that. I'm a big reader. I love my Kindle. I will
Mm-hmm.
read all night if I could. And then I do, I love um, hiking. I don't know. I
Yeah.
like, I enjoy traveling, but I hope one day with this career I can travel a lot more.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you ever
but
go back to
yeah,
Canada?
I do. I'm lucky because Toronto to New York is like an hour flight, so
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
pretty. Yeah, it's nice. And yeah, so I go there in the summer sometimes.
Yeah.
Nice, but
I love
yeah,
Canada. Every time I've been,
yeah,
it's so nice.
I do
Yes.
love Canada.
Yeah.
I love them.
Mm-hmm.
My home.
Well, I have one last question. So at Pop Palace, we ask every guest to curate their own royal court of musical influences. So if you had to pick three artists who have shaped your sound the most, who would they be?
I would say, I mean, I would say Marina and the Diamonds. I would say Lana Del Rey. And I would have to say Taylor Swift. I would have to say Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, yeah,
Awesome.
that's
Yay.
my
I love it.
heart. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you in Pop Palace. I know all the listeners are gonna love it. Where can they find you? You could just
Yes, I
have you on
am.
Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Maddie Regent, MaddieRegent, and then everywhere else. Um, yeah,
Yay. Awesome.
perfect.
Yeah, well, I'll keep
So
everyone
nice,
up to date on it and tag you and everything too.
amazing. Thank you
I'm
so
so
much. This was
excited.
so fun.
Yes, thank you so much. It was great to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Bye.
Bye.